So in this practice problem set, we're going to take a look at perfect competition. And for each one of these in part A, we're going to draw a perfectly competitive market and firm in long-run equilibrium. And then we're going to show the shifts that happen in the market and the firm graphs. So we're actually going to do the same pairs of graphs. We're going to do these same pairs 3 times in a row. Because we're all going to start in equilibrium with this practice problem set. Okay. And then, price. If we're going to start in equilibrium, we could just say supply and demand, and supply and demand. QM, PM, QM, PM, QM, PM. And we know that for each of these, that market price is Mr. DARP. Okay. And if that's Mr. DARP, then we need a marginal cost, MC, MC, and MC. And that's the firm's supply curve, right? And we kind of just know that. The firm is going to produce at that quantity, QF, QF, QF. And the last thing we need to show in equilibrium is the ATC. And if we're in equilibrium, it's coming down and then it's going back up again. And it's crossing through the MRMC because we're in equilibrium. Now, we aren't going to put AVC on until the end, and I'll kind of explain that why, because it's actually a little bit easier to wait until the end to put that on. But we know that AVC would come down and then go back up again. Now, the first one says, show the effect of a widely reported study linking a product to cancer. The firm will still produce, but sustain a loss. Show the loss with shading. So, this firm, right, is going to have a decrease in demand. Decrease in demand. Okay. Our new price is going to be a little lower, and our quantity is going to be lower. So P1 is lower. And we're going to extend that over to this graph. MR1, D1, P1. Now, this firm's going to still produce, but sustain a loss. So that tells us that the AVC is going to be below the new Mr. DARP. So we'll just kind of stick an AVC right in here. AVC. Now the firm's going to produce at the quantity where MR equals MC. So it's that dot. And we go down, quantity 1 that the firm produces, go back up to the ATC, and that is our loss rectangle. Okay? And that's again because we're comparing the new price to the ATC at the quantity that we're producing. Okay? Now the second one is going to say, show the effect of a consumer expectation that prices will rise in the future. The firm will produce and earn a profit. Show the profit with shading. So if consumers expect prices will rise in the future, they're going to buy today. So demand rises today. Q1 and P1. So price goes up. In that case, our Mr. DARP is going to be up here. MR1 equals demand 1 equals price 1. And we're going to find our new point as MR equals MC. Go down, Q1, and to find profit, we go to the ATC, the price to the ATC, and then over. So we have to be kind of careful there that we don't go down all the way to the old marginal revenue. That's a really common mistake that students make when they're doing that profit rectangle, is they want to shade that area right in there, and it actually stops at the ATC, and it's a little hard to see, so I'm going to zoom in, but you can see here that I'm not shading all the way down to the old Mr. DARP. It stops at the ATC, and that tells us that that's the profit rectangle. Okay. Now, the last one, show the effect of a change in consumer taste that takes the price to the point where the firm will shut down. So the demand is going to fall really low. in order to make the firm shut down. And our new price is going to be super low. And that new price will be way down here. MR1 equals demand 1 equals price 1. Mr. Darp's way lower. But in order to show that the firm shuts down, right, we know that price has to be below AVC in that one. So we're actually going to show an AVC here above the price. So that price is still below the AVC. The price is below that AVC line. Now, this one doesn't say shade the loss, but we need to be able to identify where the loss would be. You can choose any vertical distance between ATC and AVC, any vertical distance between those two. So I'm just going to say, bam, chosen. Right there. And over, because this distance is the AFC. And so times the quantity, whatever that quantity is, gives us the fixed cost. And that's the amount that they lose. They just lose their fixed cost. So we are going to shade that in as the amount that they lose. Okay, so now we're going to do part B, and that's all that we did in this class today was A and B, so we'll do part C in a separate video. The profitability conditions are listed here, and then profit, normal, loss, temporarily produce at a loss, yes, no, not at a loss, will they leave or enter in the long run. So if the price is greater than ATC, the firm is earning a positive profit. If the price equals the minimum ATC, what we're saying there is that here, right, you're producing, oops, right there, sorry I drew that, you couldn't see it, that you're producing here, price equals ATC, then that's a normal profit. And if the price is less than ATC and the price is greater than AVC, we'd say that's a loss, and that's because of this factor. And if the price is less than ATC, it's still a loss. Okay, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. So now, will firms temporarily produce at a loss? Well, the first one, they're not at a loss. They're earning a profit. Second one, not at a loss. Okay? And here, yes and no, these are at a loss. Will they temporarily produce? If the price is greater than AVC, that's this part, price is greater than AVC, they will produce. They will operate at the loss. And this one, in the short run, if the price falls below AVC, that's called the shutdown rule, then no, they will shut down. It's temporarily, right? Now in the long run, will firms enter or leave? Well, they're going to enter and leave in response to the information in this column. So in the long run, they'll enter in response to firms earning a profit. So enter. And if there's zero profit, they will not enter, but they will also not leave. So neither. And if they're a loss, then firms will exit or leave in the long run. Okay? And that's because of the previous topic where we just looked at lecture 4.2 part 2. So I hope this helps you a little bit with our problem set that we completed in class, and I'll see you next time.